Hello, my name is Cindy Corbett, and I'm a professor in the College of Nursing at the University of South Carolina. I'm also the director of the Center for Advancing Chronic Care Outcomes through Research and Innovation. And today I'd like to talk with you about the potential for virtual home assistants to promote social connectedness among older adults. Research related to social connectedness has shown that not being connected or having a lack of social connection results in public health risk that is at least comparable to other known risk factors, such as being obese, smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, or being physically inactive. It also results in a higher mortality rate, even when we control for factors such as a person's age or their other disease states. Approximately 29% of the 46 million older adults live alone, and living alone and loneliness and social isolation are all risk factors for being socially disconnected. Of those people who are older adults, greater than age 85, 50% live alone, and 70% of all people, all older adults I should say, who live alone are women. In 2016, some researchers did a systematic review of studies that looked at using technology to connect older adults to one another and to their family and friends. And the findings of that suggest that technology can be used to promote social connection. And other more recent studies have also shown similar results. I became interested in this topic of using virtual home assistants to promote older adults' health when I moved from my home in Washington State to South Carolina. At the time, when I lived in Washington State, I lived about 200 miles from my mom, who was 90 at the time I moved from Washington State, and she's pictured here on her 90th birthday. And so I was very worried about moving so far away, 2,500 miles as opposed to 200 miles, and how I would stay connected with her. And at the time, Amazon had come out with their virtual video home device, and I thought, wow, that might be really a way to use it. My mom had a flip phone, which of course didn't even have video, but she couldn't even use that very well. So I thought this virtual home assistant might really work well, and in fact, it has. So I became interested in researching, could it be a way not only to socially connect, but even to help people age in place? So some of the benefits that virtual home assistants might have over other types of technology are that they're voice activated, so you don't have to mess with screens and buttons and that sort of thing. They can be always available. You don't necessarily have to turn them on. You can turn them off if you want to, if you don't want them always to be listening, but you can leave them on and then just talk to them and make requests of them from wherever you are in your home. And because of their relatively low cost, that they're a consumer product that's very available wherever you shop almost, they have relatively low cost, and people can have multiple devices potentially in different rooms of their home. So again, that they're easily available and accessible just to talk with them. They also have additional features other than the communication feature. They provide entertainment. You can listen to books or podcasts, or ask it to tell you a joke, or you can get other information such as the weather. You can play music on it. You can ask it to give you reminders or make lists for you. And then of course there's some safety features that some people use, that you could connect it to your list of telephone contacts, and if an older adult were to fall, they could perhaps ask Alexa or their other device to call someone to come and help them, call them on the phone, and the virtual device would call. Or some people connect it to appliances or their home security system too, which they find beneficial for convenience and for aging in place. There are a lot of articles, or several anyway, if you look at the lay literature, that delineate the potential benefits of virtual home assistants for older adults. However, the scientific literature is very scant, to say the least, so far. These two studies that I have on the screen are really the only ones that I could find that talk about using virtual home assistants and the potential to promote benefits for older adults. And they both used internet reviews of verified buyers and qualitatively evaluated the comments of those reviews. So the O'Brien et al. Study was done in the United States, and their evaluation of those reviews resulted in the 5 themes you see here, one of which was that the older adults perceived the virtual home assistant to provide companionship. So that kind of goes along with this idea about being socially connected and not feeling socially isolated. Similarly, Chung and Wu, and their study was done in China with virtual home assistants and looking at the internet reviews of verified buyers. One of their findings was that it promoted mental health among older adults. And this quote that I have up here was their exemplar for that. And the person is saying that the virtual home assistant has helped them feel no longer lonely. There was one other published abstract that was from a conference proceeding in the literature, and that was published in 2019 in the Journal of Age and Aging. And that research is about some researchers in Europe who have older adults as part of their research team, and they are developing an e-coaching, a virtual e-coaching device for older adults. And the older adult members of the research team wanted to be sure that the device would help them stay socially connected by providing social interaction. So again, what scant evidence there is starting to show that there may be some benefit for reducing social isolation with virtual home assistants. In our research, we looked at it more broadly to see if virtual home assistants could help people age in place. And really, this is just a feasibility study. We have 10 dyads that are almost complete with the study. And those dyads include an older adult and then a support person who lived in a separate home. And we provided the virtual home assistants to them, set them up, gave them some basic instruction about use. We did have them call one another, do a virtual call on the devices with one another. And then we pretty much have just let them use the device organically for 60 days. And during that 60 days, we used the Alexa app on our study phone to record the types of uses that they're doing with the devices and the frequency of that use. And then after the 60 days, we interview them to see what their perceptions of the devices were. So one of the things that's coming out about the older adults is that they do in fact sort of use the devices as a surrogate companion. And something that's coming out from the support persons is that it provided a sense of comfort to them about the older adults' well-being. So again, we're seeing some findings about the use of these that show that people see them as helping them stay socially connected and not feel alone in their homes. And one of our participants who was in our study gave us permission to use excerpts from an interview to use in presentations like this to exemplify some of our themes. And I'm going to play that next. It's going to take me just a sec because I have to turn off my speaker here to start the video so we don't get any feedback. So just give me a moment here.
And I know that you initially, one of the reasons why you were interested in the study is because we thought that it might be a device that could help people age in place safely, and that's one of your goals, I know. And so is there anything else about it that you feel is helping you meet that goal?
Oh, just loads of things. It's helping me to remember.
Okay.
Helping me to remember, and also, as I say, it's like having an executive secretary almost, which I had to become accustomed to. But you know, now I'm not sure I could do without it. I would feel very alone without it, because I don't talk with it, but you know, it's there, and I know that if I need help, I can just say, you know, Alexa, call the whomever.
Okay, very good.
So currently our nation is experiencing a social connectedness crisis, and that is particularly true, I think, for older adults. older adults were advised to quarantine prior to anyone else in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic, and they'll likely need to be very careful about quarantining and being socially isolated from others, social distancing, well into the fall and winter. And they've been disproportionately affected by the quarantine, and some of the ways that older adults connect with one another also puts them at high risk for getting COVID-19. For instance, in Colorado, the first person to die from COVID-19 was an older adult woman who had been at a bridge tournament that lasted several days, and there were over 100 other people there, most all of whom were over 65 years of age, and she became ill just a few days after the bridge tournament was finished and subsequently died. And then after that, many of the people at that bridge tournament became ill, some of whom had to be hospitalized, and at least 3 of whom subsequently have died. Our congregate care, such as long-term care facilities, have been severely hit by outbreaks. And in my opinion, this very tragic outcome is going to make our older adults in the U.S. even more committed to trying to age in place. So we really need technology to help promote their ability to age in place, and specifically to help promote their connectedness, not only now, but in the future, so that they can stay healthy and do not feel the detrimental effects of social isolation. So in general, I'd like to summarize by saying my research team here and I think that older adults can really benefit by socially connecting from new technology devices such as virtual home assistants. And we'd like to thank you for your interest in this topic and for taking the time to watch this video. And if you do have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to contact me at corbett@sc.edu. In the meantime, stay safe, be well, and virtually connect with those older adults who are near and dear to you. Thank you.